Screen Fortress 2025 is here, and it actually came out at a reasonable time, at least here in the UK. It dropped around about 7 PM. It's a bit weird. Usually Team Fortress 2 updates drop around about 11 PM, at least in the UK, but hey, I'm not complaining. Early release to experience Screen Fortress is pretty nice, and I'm happy to say that this Screen Fortress release didn't really seem that buggy, at least to me at the moment. I guarantee there's probably still some bugs here and there, but to me it seems mostly polished, which is a bit weird because I'm not used to Screen Fortress updates being polished, at least from the last couple of Screen Fortresses we've had. But this one seems pretty polished, and I think I know why. This Screen Fortress update didn't really add a lot, but I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. I think it's actually pretty good that they scaled down Screen Fortress this year. We only got 5 new maps, which these 5 new maps, okay, they range from being fine to downright terrible to pretty good. So Kara House is a reskin of Powerhouse, which has a MVM theme to it, really. That's the best way I can put it. The red section is based off of Rottenburg, and the blue section is based off of like a robot factory. And it's pretty interesting having a Powerhouse reskin like this. It's kind of neat having the 2 different themes. And also it does have a very unique gimmick. If you remember, the original Powerhouse was supposed to have a flank to the side that they got rid of. They sealed it off in the actual release of Powerhouse. But they added it back in the Halloween form in the case of where every now and then, after the point's been captured, there will be a way to access the underground, or the mines, I think they're called, the Australian mines that weren't in Australia. So it's a neat gimmick, and it doesn't really ruin the map, and it actually probably makes Powerhouse a bit more bearable. I haven't really run into super long stalemates on Powerhouse anymore because of this gimmick. I think it is actually a good addition to the game. I think it's fun. I love the way the map looks, and yeah, it is still Powerhouse at the end of the day, so if you're not a fan of Powerhouse, you probably won't like this map, but I thought it was pretty alright. Next map is Dusker, and now this is the poster map for me. This map is generally so much fun. Now, it's not super out there. There's not a lot of spell spam or anything like that. In fact, I don't think the Powerhouse had any of that too. But just as a normal map, it's super fun to play on with a very good spooky tone to it. That's probably because Dusker is actually based off of a video game called Dusk. Dusk is actually a very good game, by the way. If you're into retro shooters, I would recommend it. It's so much fun. But yeah, it being based off of that, it just gives it a very spooky vibe. But overall, the map itself plays really well. It is a very small map. I even had one of my friends say it reminded them of an arena map, but it is COP, it is King of the Hill, so that's pretty good. And it's just overall a really fun map to play. I really like it, even with its small size. It doesn't feel too choky. Afterlife. I got nothing to say about Afterlife. I already had a look. It's in arena mode. I think it has a gimmick of where if you die, you go to hell, and then if you kill someone in hell, you can resurrect and get put back into the arena fight. I don't know. I'm not touching it. I will stand my ground on saying that arena is the worst game mode in Team Fortress 2. Yes, even worse than territorial control. So I'm not interested. I'm sorry. I'm sure the people that worked on Afterlife are great people, but if your thing is arena based, I probably won't show any interest in it because I really don't like arena, and I'm not going to force myself to play something I don't like. And the last map is Marshlands. Marshlands is interesting because it's got Capture the Flag and King of the Hill combined into it, where the objective of this map is you have to hold this ghost intel with you for 3 minutes. Not 3 minutes in one go, 3 minutes overall as a team. So basically it's like capturing the flag, but instead of capturing the flag, you just gotta hold the flag, which is actually what the game mode is called. It's called Hold the Flag. So you just hold it. You can't take it like anywhere near your spawn or anything. You have to stay in the middle of the map with it. It's a very neat concept. I think it's flawed. It's definitely got some flaws to the mode, but it is a neat concept, and for a Screen Fortress update, it's not too bad. I think the only thing I dislike about the map, it's not even the map itself, it's more just the spell spam I feel like the map has. There are so many spells like constantly being used on that map. It's kind of ridiculous. So I think as a mode, it's got some flaws, but I think those flaws could be worked out. The biggest strategy I saw that seems a bit too ridiculous is just going quick fix medic and then having like an NG or two basically with a sentry nest. You just stay near that sentry nest with the intel. So that strategy is a bit boring, I know, but hey, since one of the contracts on the map is to just win a round and it gives you 30 contract points because of it, so if you just want to do that, yeah, I can do that. So there you go. So yeah, like I said, it's flawed, but I think the concept is there. I think it's a good concept that can grow, and also some changes could be made to it. I think Hold the Flag would actually be a pretty decent little mode, at least for Halloween. I wouldn't want to see it as a mode outside of these seasonal events, but for these seasonal events, it would be nice to have. I think it's something fun and something different. The cosmetics. I gotta say something real quick about cosmetics. I don't know what it is, but cosmetics just feel really boring to me now. I know a lot of people would just say, well, that's because it's the majority of the update is the cosmetics. But like, I don't know, I just feel like the cosmetics we're getting, they're not bad, but they don't stand out. Like, they don't pop. Like, someone like me who isn't a big fan of stuff like the potassium bonnet, at least I remember it, and I can remember the case it was from. It was from the gunmetal case. You know, it really stood out. It popped out, and it like came to memory and all that about like these certain items. These recent items, I just can't really tell anymore when they actually came out. Like, you could show me a cosmetic that came out in this very update, and it's rather, I would think it came from a different case in the summer update, or just something we've already had years ago. Again, I don't want to fault the cosmetic creators for this. I don't think it's their fault. I think it's more just the cosmetic selection recently has been very, what's the best way of putting this? Very safe, I guess is the best way to put it. They've been very safe with it. They haven't really tried to do anything too wacky. I see that some people are still getting upset at some of the cosmetics getting added in for really weird reasons. I don't really get why. If you don't like a cosmetic, that's fine. You can criticize the cosmetic, but they're acting like it ruins the game. And I mean, I'd say these cosmetics are so safe. The only thing that's ruining the game with these cosmetics is just how boring I think they are because of how safe they are. And again, not the fault of the makers. It's kind of the fault of Valve because they don't try to add something a bit more different. I mean, they used to, but they went too far on one end where it would just be all like wacky or experimental cosmetics, and then they would just not add any actual general cosmetics. Valve need to find a good mix of that, really, so like a case can stand out with these more sillier cosmetics or experimental cosmetics, but still had like general stuff in there that people would want overall just because it generally looks good. The taunts are great. I love all three of these taunts, honest to God. I can't get enough of all three of these taunts. They are basically non-looping taunts, which is fine. I do like looping taunts, but them, you know, toning them down a bit because they were going a bit crazy with looping taunts. This is good. They did it with the summer update. I think there was one looping taunt in the summer update, but you know, in recent times they have been calming down with looping taunts, which is pretty good. The free taunts we got, I love all of them. The scout one is the best one. I like the heavy one because I'm a huge wrestling fan, so him having a wrestling themed taunt is kind of neat. The medic one is the worst one out of the bunch, but I still think it's pretty good. I love the little shrug medic gives, although it gives me Mercy vibes. I don't know if that's just me though, but the shrug there just gives me Mercy vibes, which might be why I kind of like it a lot, because I really like Mercy in Overwatch. But yeah, they're all made by the same person. Caillou, I think is how you say his name. Yeah, he just makes really great taunts. I can't blame him for getting all the taunts added. Some people might call that a monopoly, but I just call it, he's good at making taunts, so Valve picks the taunt that they think are good. He makes good taunts, so he gets picked a lot. So yeah, Caillou, you did a good job with all three of these taunts. I'm very glad to see them in this year. And then of course we've got the unusual effects. I don't care, and haven't cared about unusuals in a long while. What I do care about though is what they've done with the Halloween contracts. Now, they've reset for everyone, obviously, but when it comes to community contracts with the community maps, you no longer have to play them in a certain order. You can just pick whatever map you want to play and play. This is a great change. I don't understand why with the Valve contracts you still have to play them in order. I feel like they should get the same treatment too, and just pick whatever one you want and then do it. But for at least the community maps, which is the majority of Scream Fortress maps nowadays, it's generally good to basically be like, I want to play this map, but if I want to play this map for this contract, I have to then play these 3 other maps I don't really care about to do their contracts to then play the map I actually do care about. That's not a thing anymore. You can just go to the map you want to play and click on it and the contract's activated. So, good example, I love Cursed Cove a lot. Cursed Cove is one of my favorite Scream Fortress maps. It's actually one of my favorite TF2 maps in general. And instead of having to now go through, I believe it was like 3 different maps, I can now just click on Cursed Cove and there we go. I can play it straight away. No need to do all the other maps first. Great change. Very happy they did it. And well, besides that, it's just the standard Scream Fortress update. A few general fixes for other Scream Fortress stuff or just stuff in the game in general. Again, this update wasn't really big this year, but I think that was to be expected because, again, we're supposed to be getting this MVM update, hopefully, at the end of October. Yeah, for a Scream Fortress update, it wasn't too bad. It's a nice little thing, and, you know, I feel like we haven't had one of those in a while. We haven't really had just a mostly polished and fun little Scream Fortress event, because at the end of the day, I will say these are supposed to be fun, and I think this year is pretty fun. So, yeah, that's pretty much Scream Fortress, the same as usual. Now, obviously, again, we're supposed to be getting that MVM update at the end of October, or at some point this year, maybe, hopefully. I'm sure if there's something that's happened, they'll let us know, they'll give an update, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with Scream Fortress this year. And there's nothing really more I can say on the matter, except, go play some Scream Fortress. Or not. It's your life. Do what you want. Holy crap, is that Freddy Fazbear?